Honesty and wanting to do the right thing can be strong autistic tendencies. That's certainly not to say that you have to be autistic to be honest, or that all autistic people are honest and want to do the right thing. But there are particular versions of these traits that can tend to be heightened in autistic individuals. You can count on an autistic person to give you their honest opinion if you ask for it, and sometimes even if you don't. In fact, offering unsolicited advice can sometimes get people with an autistic neurotype in trouble with others. An important thing to try to remember when that happens is that our honesty likely comes from a place of simple sincerity or wanting to help. Somewhat related, autistic people can also often feel bound by rules, even when they're informal or unwritten, and we can dislike it when others bend them. Wanting everyone to follow rules and not being shy about speaking up about it, well, that can sometimes make us a little less popular. But again, it's probably true that we don't mean any harm, and more so simply that we tend to value rules and structure. An honest, matter-of-fact way of communicating is another related trait, which can sometimes get us into trouble, or at least lead us to be judged by others who are not used to people speaking in this way. We might tell you that a food we are eating is overly salty, for example, even if you might be the one who cooked it. Or if a person comments on the nice weather, we might offer that we like the weather yesterday a lot better, or that it's too breezy or too sunny for our liking. If you're not used to someone being honest with what's on their mind, these observations might be off-putting or seem to be things we might have better kept to ourselves. But again, we value honesty. For us, being honest is usually what feels right, even if according to society's standards, it can be seen as wrong. I think that a preference for honest and direct communication is why a lot of autistic people don't enjoy small talk. That also could be because of lack of interest in light topics, but it could be because of our usually strong dislike for anything inauthentic. When someone says to me, "How are you?" it's very hard for me to simply say, "Good," if that does not accurately reflect my state at that time, even though I know that is the expectation of this social exchange. I've heard other autistic people say that small talk in general feels empty or hollow, or even can make them feel that the person looking to speak about lighter topics might not be trustworthy. I think the surface level nature of the conversation makes the autistic person wary of a true motive or what might be hidden under the surface. A straightforward speaking style, typical of some autistic individuals, fits in here too, even with the speech of some carrying with it little in the way of flourishes or social niceties added on just to be polite, or because it's expected. Our tendency to be direct and to the point can sometimes lead others to label us as rude. A tendency to directness can also make us very literal. In terms of advice being offered to us, if someone says, "You might want to consider doing X," I think a lot of autistic people would focus on the consider part and miss that it was less of a suggestion and more of a direct request. If we do not do what the person indicated, we might seem resistant, when in fact we simply interpreted their words differently from how they meant them. For example, a friend of mine told me for months that when using a particular piece of cooking equipment, I didn't need to turn it off when I checked on the food. What he really meant was that he didn't want me to turn it off when checking. But I kept on doing it because I missed that implication. It feels a little silly now, but for quite a bit of time, I continued turning it off and then back on, and he continued to tell me I didn't have to, and I truly just thought he was telling me a fact about the equipment. So honesty, wanting to do the right thing, being direct, they all can be strong tendencies in autistic people, and they definitely contribute to communication differences. The thing is, though, communication differences are a two-way street. Autistic and non-autistic people often communicate differently, and the result can be misunderstandings in both directions, with no one really to blame.